And welcome to Old Gold Weekend. I'm Lori White, the new president of DePauw, and I am standing here right by the DePauw Tiger in beautiful Greencastle, Indiana. The leaves are turning gold, fall is in the air, and we certainly missed the opportunity to be together in person. However, I am so glad that you were able to join our webcast. We've switched locations and we're now coming to you from the beautiful Bottom Center. And I would like to introduce you all to somebody very important, the first gentleman, my husband, Anthony Tillman. So Tony, what folks probably don't know about you is you also have some Indiana roots in that you're a Purdue alum.
Go Boilers.
Oh no, this is Old Gold Weekend. This is all about the Tigers.
All about the Tigers.
So I wanted to introduce all of our alums to you, and I'm sure what they most want to know is probably how you and I met, but we'll save that for another time. I'll just give you a teaser that we had our first date in 1995 and our second date 10 years later. So when I see you on campus, you can ask us to tell you the rest of the story. So Tony, what folks don't know is you too have had a long career in higher education. So tell the alums what excites you most about working in higher ed and working with young people.
Well, thank you, Lori. For those of you out there, yes, it is true that I've had more than a 30-year career working in higher education, primarily at liberal arts colleges and universities, very similar to DePauw University. And what inspires me in this career that I've had over these many years is the opportunity to work in partnership with faculty and staff to help students at the time realize their dreams, goals, and ambitions that become manifest when they become alums. As many of you there who are viewing us can attest to that. So for me, it's always about seeing the next step, having that, working with young students to help them begin to put together a life plan where they thrive and strive and have a much better quality of life than they had when they started as an 18-year-old in the first year.
So Tony, you're going to be the very first gentleman at DePauw. So what are you most looking forward to in your role as first gentleman?
Oh, picking out the menus. Hot dogs and beans for everyone.
Well, I hope that when you all are back on campus that you will stop by the People's House, the Elms, and say hello to me and to Tony. So I would love to ask our first trivia question. So this is a really good one. So this year marks the 100th year of the 19th Amendment, and you all know I'm the very first female president at DePauw. So this first trivia question is very apropos, and it is, 4 trees were planted in Bowman Park to honor the 4 women first admitted to DePauw. What year were they admitted? Whoever answers that question first gets a DePauw t-shirt. Yay. Do we know who wins? I'd like to be able to announce the winner.
Not yet.
Not yet?
I bet there's
Bet you all are typing furiously. Well, Tony, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I know that you also have some things that you have to do. So I'll allow you to be excused, and I know that everybody is looking forward to welcoming Tony to campus in the same way that you all have warmly welcomed me.
Well, thank you, Lori. And to those of you out there, happy Old Gold Weekend. Hurrah. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers!
Mwah.
So also joining me is Donna Wilson, who is the Interim Associate Vice President for Development and Alumni Engagement. And we are going to answer a few questions that have been submitted, and I'm looking forward to responding to your questions. Go ahead, Donna.
Thank you, Dr. White. We're really excited to be here with you today and appreciate your time being with us here on Old Gold Weekend. So one of the first questions that came in was, how has fall been going? Your transition to DePauw, dealing with COVID, remote learning, etc.
Well, I always tell folks I certainly never imagined when I received my undergraduate degree in 1980 that 39 years later I would become a college president. And I also never imagined I would become a college president during a pandemic. What I would like to say, though, is things on campus are going very well considering all of the challenges. We opened fall semester with about 50% of our students living on campus. The other 50% of our students are either commuter students or learning remotely. I would like to commend all members of our faculty, staff, and students for all of the hard work that they have done to make sure that we're all adhering to health and safety matters. In fact, I've got my DePauw mask with me, but I've taken it off since I'm sitting here solo, or I was here just with my husband. And so far, so good for all of us. We have a dashboard if you're interested in knowing how many positive cases we've had on campus. We certainly had some, but we haven't had so many that we are concerned that we need to close our campus. And so far, so good. And we are working now on our spring plans.
Great. And our question number 2 is, how is DePauw going to compete for or be relevant to more students as the liberal arts model seems to have become outdated?
So I hope the liberal arts model is not outdated. While I did not go to a liberal arts college, I attended UC Berkeley for my undergraduate degree. I majored in the liberal arts. My degree is in English and in psychology. And so the liberal arts are still relevant. However, we need to think about making the liberal arts even more relevant for the 21st century and for the generations of students that will be applying to college in the near future. And that generation is particularly interested in making sure that their college education is directly relevant to what it is that they believe they want to do career-wise. And so I think we've got to do a better job of articulating the ways in which a liberal arts education prepares all of us for a successful career, like so many of you who are watching this broadcast have had in your life.
Awesome. Dr. White, would you like to ask another trivia question at this time?
Sure, because I've got a lot of swag to give away. So the next trivia question is, name this Crawfordsville, Indiana native and Beta Theta Pi member who traveled with NASA to complete 81 orbits of the Earth in 122 hours. Anybody know the answer to that question? While we're waiting for you all to respond to that trivia question, let me announce the first trivia winner, Angelique Serrano, class of 19, who's our first trivia winner, and she's getting a t-shirt. Angelique, I look forward to the opportunity to welcome you back to campus soon, I hope.
Great. And we'd welcome everyone to share their favorite Old Gold memories with us live through chat so that we can capture those. We have another question for you, Dr. White, this time about freedom of speech. As a liberal arts university, how can we balance conservative views with liberal views in a consistent manner?
I believe a liberal arts education fundamentally is about the free flow of ideas, and equally important value is a focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And those values, the value of focus on freedom of expression and a value with a focus of diversity, equity, and inclusion should not be in conflict with one another, though I think folks, when they think about supporting conservative speech and supporting liberal speech, often think that those two values run up against one another. And so I think we have to continue to reinforce that in order to be a liberal arts educated individual, you have to be able to both accept the free flow of ideas, even those ideas with which you do not agree. And also we teach you how to argue and defend your particular position. And that should always be a part of DePauw and a part of a liberal education.
Thank you. Our last question for this segment is, what practices or lessons do you bring to us from your previous experiences?
So the practices or lessons that I bring from my previous experiences would help to start by how I got interested in a career in higher education to begin with. I mentioned earlier that I did my undergraduate work at UC Berkeley, which is an incredible institution. It's also a very large institution of 30,000 plus students. And when I was a student there, I was intimidated by my perception that everybody at UC Berkeley was smarter than I was. And I was too afraid to do all the things that I ask students to do now, which is to ask for help if you feel like you might be struggling with something, and to take advantage of all the resources that are available to students on all the campuses where I've worked, including DePauw. And when I graduated from UC Berkeley, sadly, because I hadn't made those really important mentorship and advising connections, I know I graduated from UC Berkeley without any faculty member actually knowing my name, nor had I established a relationship with anyone who could have written me a letter of recommendation. I happened to fall into a career in higher ed largely because my father was a college professor, and he's the one who encouraged me to think about working on a college campus. And when I got my very first job at the University of California, Irvine, it was there that I discovered individuals on campus who I later came to find out were the student affairs professionals who were advising, mentoring, coaching students. And I saw how students blossomed as a result of somebody caring about them. And I thought to myself, if I'd had somebody like that investing in me the way in which I see these folks investing in the young people with whom they're working, how different my college education would have been. And so, as I said, for the last 39 years, I've worked in higher education, always thinking about every single student as me and wanting to make sure that I can create a college experience working with my colleagues, working with faculty, working with students, so that every student on every campus where I've ever worked has the maximum ability to achieve their hopes and their dreams. So that is what I bring to DePauw from all of the other places where I've worked, and what I carry in my heart every day working with the wonderful students here at DePauw.
Dr. White, we have another trivia question here.
Great. Why don't you ask it, Donna?
Okay. Who was the first president of DePauw University?
And the person who answers this question gets this beautiful DePauw history book.
Very appropriate.
And bonus points for whomever can answer the question, who was the 21st president of DePauw? The second trivia winner is Marietta Fong, class of 1975. Marietta, you are going to win a DePauw Gold Within bag.
Beautiful. Yay. Dr. White, could you share with us a little bit about what the plans are for spring semester 2021?
Sure. We just announced our plans for spring semester on Friday, And I am excited to announce that we will welcome all of our students back this spring. We have learned quite a bit this fall about how we can manage students on our campus in a COVID-19 environment. We have robust testing. We have spaces set aside for any students who need to be isolated or quarantined. And as I said earlier, all of the students who are here on campus this fall have more than lived up to our expectations. So really excited to bring back all of our students in the spring who desire to come back. And we will also make it possible for those students who would like to continue learning remotely, or our international students who are still not able to get here to be able to do so, and students who would like to commute, we will allow that by petition. So I'm excited to welcome all of our students back in the spring. And the third winner is Jane Funk, class of 1978, who wins the book.
Yay.
For answering who was our first president.
Awesome. We have a question now, Dr. White, about strategic planning. How can alumni get involved in the strategic planning efforts that are going on campus this year?
We very much want all members of the DePauw community to be involved in our strategic planning process, which is focused on re-envisioning our great university for the liberal arts in the 21st century. All alums will be invited to participate. You will shortly receive an invitation to sign up for small group conversations. And we are using this book as our strategic planning framework. It's called The Small College Imperative, Models for Sustainable Futures by Mary Marcy. Mary Marcy is the president of Dominican College in California, and she is the person who nominated me for the DePauw job. So I figured the least I could do is sell her book. In all seriousness, her book is excellent and talks about both the challenges ahead for small colleges, liberal arts colleges about DePauw, and gives us many ideas and food for thought as we think about how we can reimagine DePauw and position us for the greatest success in the years going forward. So I'll give this book away next for the next trivia question.
Great. I think we're going to take a little break right now, and when we come back, we'll hear a little more from Dr. White.
Hi, my name is Messiah Anderson. I'm a freshman at DePauw University, and Go Within to me is building your character to help you in the workforce later, and DePauw does a great job at doing that because it builds your academic integrity so that you can have strengths going into the workforce, so it's better for success in life.
My name is Omar Hassan, and I'm class of 2024. Gold Within to me, gold is like excellence. Gold is like the best you could like get, and it's like a commitment to yourself to be the best and continue to strive for excellence.
Go within. I think there's this prestige that comes with being a student or alum of DePauw, and so dating back to its history from the 1800s, there's this camaraderie that's built among people who go to DePauw.
My name is Amalia. I'm a senior, class of 2021, and to me, Gold Within represents all of the wonderful friends and people that you meet at DePauw, as well as the fabulous professors and network of support that's here.
Hi, I'm Drew Cosgray. I'm a freshman at DePauw, and when we are talking about Gold Within, the first thing that comes to my mind is just about seizing every opportunity. There are so many opportunities here at DePauw, so grabbing those opportunities, that gets into that golden standard eventually by making all these connections and internships. So Gold Within to me is just seizing every opportunity, so like in the end, you're basically like golden.
Hi, I'm Amber Wolf, and I'm a freshman here at DePauw. And to me, Gold Within means having a community that's going to back you no matter what and support you and help you to succeed.
Hi, my name is Sydney Forbes. I am a senior, class of 2021, and Gold Within to me means a family and a community that will stay with you and support you for the rest of your life.
Hi, I'm Max Carroll. I'm a freshman, and gold within to me means it's more of like a metaphorical. Yeah. Like to me, Greencastle is gold, and to come here and have the opportunity to be here is like gold. Like it's very valuable, and all the things that you learn here and do here are gonna be very valuable to like your post-secondary education. And all this gold is going to be carried on with you throughout your life, and it's going to take you to where you want to be.
Everyone is rooting for you, which I think is something that's super cool and important. There's a school pride that extends far beyond academics and far beyond athletics. It goes into like who you are as a person and wanting to make you a well-rounded student.
What really made me fall in love with this place was the community. I mean, walking the streets with my tour guide, staying with my overnight host, just feeling as if I was instantly welcome to campus.
Even before coming to DePauw, I just like received a bunch of email introduce me DePauw Live, and it really gave me a really personal feeling of okay, I'm home.
All of the students I talked to were engaging, all of the faculty members I talked to were engaging, and people just wanted to have those conversations.
Just having prospective current students say hello to me while I'm walking around, that was really the thing that did it for me.
Having that community where you could meet someone new every day, but you would also be familiar with several people that you could come across, whether it was going to the cafeteria to grab lunch or walking to one of your classes in Julian, you are bound to know someone.
So you are not alone, people are here for you, and that's why I think the small community here just really make DePauw stand out.
There's so many support systems along the way that are here to help you grow and become yourself, whether it's the mentor program, your professors and staff, just different student organizations.
For my first year mentor, she just did a great job to have the one-on-one talk with me, and really she tried her best to know my background.
I think moving to DePauw, coming into a new environment, having a new roommate, that was all very scary to me. I wasn't aware that there were resources on campus to help me do that. Throughout my first year, I had my first year mentor throughout the entire way, and he really helped me become comfortable in this DePauw community and ultimately find my place.
Yesterday, I also talked to Dr. White for 30 minutes, and she, even as the president of the university, was willing to sit down with me and talk about some of my future plans and my goals.
And I think every professor here is just so approachable. They not only know your names, they also know who you truly are, and they will try their best to match your interest to some program that DePauw has to offer here.
So if you're really interested in community service, there's Chelsea Naylor in the Hartman House who's going to be willing to sit down and talk to you about what you're interested in and how you can do that here in Greencastle. Or if you're super passionate about pre-medicine or pre-law, there are people in the Hubbard Center who can help you pursue that passion. So I think for me, the incredible thing about DePauw is it's a passionate community. No matter who you are, no matter what you're passionate about, if you're interested in it and you're a student who's willing to work for it, someone will make it happen with you. And that's what I found in my own DePauw experience.
Hi, everyone. I want to thank everyone for tuning in this evening to join us with a Old Gold Weekend webcast with Dr. White, the 21st president of DePauw University. We're really excited to have a conversation with her this evening. And I thank everybody for taking time as we've really moved our alumni events in a whole new direction this year. And I hope that you'll be able to join us for upcoming virtual events as your schedule allows. So, Dr. White, I know that you have had the opportunity in your first few months here at DePauw to meet with many members of the DePauw community. Could you tell us a few of the things that you have learned through these conversations that you've had over the past few months?
Sure, Donna, and I've appreciated the opportunity to connect with so many of you virtually. I know we all wish that we were here together this weekend and that I'd had the chance to travel across the country and meet with you more personally. However, I'm happy that we are able to utilize technology to connect with one another. So some of the things that I've learned from the folks with whom I've connected so far, the first thing I've learned is the wonderful love that all of our alumni have for our great university. And in fact, I have come to find that people that I've known throughout my life, turns out some of them are DePauw alums, and I had never even realized that. And so it's wonderful to reconnect with friends who are also alums of the institution. So love for DePauw echoes through the generations. I've also learned what a transformative educational experience occurs at DePauw. And let me give you an example of that. When I was being recruited to come to DePauw as the 21st president, I had a chance to be given a tour by a young man by the name of Dante Stewart. Dante graduated in the class of 2020. He's a Posse scholar, and as he gave me the tour, I was able to see DePauw through his eyes. He told me how he decided to double major in computer science and Japanese, that he had the chance to study abroad in Japan, that while he was in Japan, he observed that because Japanese folks are having fewer children, there are fewer younger people taking care of the elderly. And he wondered if he might be able to use his computer science background to find an answer to that problem. And so he wrote his senior thesis on the idea of Japan using robots to help care for the elderly. He, as I said, graduated in the class of 2020. He is now living back in New York. He has started his own business, and he is on the Young Alumni Board. So Dante's story is just one example of many of how DePauw takes young people from all across the country and the world, provides them with an incredible education, allows them to explore fields, experiences that they might not have ever imagined, and then positions them for success. So those are just a couple of things that I've learned about DePauw in the short time that I've been here. And I know we've asked you to send us your DePauw memories, and I also look forward to learning more about what you see as the challenges and opportunities for our institution as we go through the strategic planning process.
Dr. White, one of the other firsts this fall is that we have opened a brand new residence hall for students. Can you tell us a little bit about that hall? Have you had a chance to walk through it yet?
I've had a chance to walk through it, and I understand it is the replacement for Hogate Hall. And I also understand that there are many memories of Hogate, some that people feel comfortable sharing, others that are better kept to oneself. And the new residence hall is simply beautiful. And it's the first of what we hope are a number of new residence halls for our students. It, of course, has all of the modern accoutrements that students these days would want. Plenty of places for people to plug in all of their devices, lots of places for folks to connect informally. It's quite nice, and I hope when you're back on campus, you have a chance to visit the new residence hall.
Dr. White, one of the traditions of DePauw, as you well know, is Marvin's. And I believe we have a special delivery here for you.
So Marvin's delivers to
Yes,
Old Gold
yes.
Weekend. I'll
Old
be
Gold.
right back.
Marvin's delivers to the bottom center on Old Gold
Yes,
Weekend.
thank you. This is my first Marvin's.
Well, there you go.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
very
much for the special delivery.
My cheapskate son charged you.
Oh, he did? Oh, okay, but you'll make
I'm the
sure it's
boss.
on the house this
I'm the
time.
boss. I make sure it's on
Well,
the house.
thank you. Thank you so much for dinner.
You betcha.
So Marvin's delivered.
Marvin's delivers to the bottom center on
on
Old Gold Weekend.
So believe it or not, alums, this is my very first Marvin's. So I can't wait to dig in.
We've had lots of Marvin's. It's, you know, a DePauw tradition
Well,
from
that's
the beginning.
something else that I've learned is that we have many, many traditions, including Marvin's.
Absolutely. Well, we will soon let you get to your Marvin's, but we have a question. Well, we received several questions from alumni along the lines of how can we help? And I think that's a really timely question given what DePauw and DePauw students are facing right now. So what would you like the DePauw alumni and friends to know about how they can engage with the university?
Well, thank you so much for that question about how you as alums can help. And there are a range of things you certainly can do to help our students. One is this is a very challenging job market. And so for those of you who have opportunities at your companies to employ our students full time, give them internship experiences and or allow them to do an information interview with you or to shadow you, that certainly would be helpful for our students. It would be helpful for you to help recruit students for the next classes of DePauw. And so post your DePauw sticker on your car, wave your DePauw flag outside of your house, visit the high school in your neighborhood and ask if there are ways in which you can interact with students, prospective students, to talk to them about the great liberal arts education that you received. That's certainly a way in which you can help. And then I hope that you'll commit to giving a gift to your alma mater, no matter how big or small. All gifts are welcome. That's a way to help pay what DePauw invested in you forward to the next generation.
Well, thank you, Dr. White, for hosting this event and for letting DePauw alumni and friends get to know you and Tony a little bit more. We've had such a great time.
Well, and I also know that I was not able to get to all of your questions, and we designed this to be upbeat and fun, and I know some of you may have had more challenging questions that you wanted to ask me that I didn't have a chance to see. So please feel free to email me, president@depauw.edu, and I'd be happy to answer your question post this web telecast. So thanks again for joining in, and I'm so humbled and honored to be the 21st president of DePauw.
And thanks everyone who's tuned in. And now, so that we don't let Dr. White's GCB get too cold, we'll leave you with just a bit of Old Gold history and memories. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Each fall, Old Gold Weekend is a time to welcome our alumni back to campus and to celebrate our university. The weekend began as Old Gold Day in 1907 as a way to unify classes and has changed significantly over the years into DePauw's version of homecoming. In previous years, we have celebrated with visiting speakers, building dedications, music, and a traditional home football game where we recognize the Old Gold Court. We celebrate alumni and students as we join together to remember our past and look toward our future. Though we can't be together on campus this year, we are excited to have the opportunity to bring a little bit of Old Gold to you wherever you are. We hope you'll take this time to remember your gold within and reflect on your happiest memories of DePauw in the fall. We can't wait to be able to welcome each of you back to campus soon. Go Tigers!